There's one. There's one. That's the big one. That's a giant. 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 Over the last decade, I've caught fish in every corner of North America. From California to Mexico, Florida to New York, and all the way up to Canada, documenting it all on video for you guys. Yes! I got it! But as a video creator and instructor, I've generally left out one of the most important and the largest demographics in the world of fishing, and that is the bank beater, the pond prowler, the shore master. Yeah! In this series, I'm making it my goal to fish more bodies of water than I ever have before, but this time, from the bank. My name's Tyler, and this is 100 Ponds. And let me tell you guys, you are not gonna wanna miss a single second of this video. From pond number 33 to pond number 34, there is so much to learn, so many fish catches to see, some amazing changes that I made in order to catch more fish, and I teach you guys all about it. I'm so pumped about today's episode. If y'all have never seen a 100 Ponds video, I will leave the playlist, including all the previous episodes of this series, down in the video description, but I say we head on the water and start at pond number 33. So walking down to pond number 33, we are almost 1/3 of the way through this challenge. That is pretty crazy. But what I'm seeing so far is a lot of something just moved right there. A lot of shoreline grass, and I'm not exactly sure what type this is. It's like really thick, something I've never seen before. Pond is about, I don't know, acre in size, not too big, but I definitely don't like the water clarity. It could be because it's cloudy outside. Really the first time it's been cloudy in quite a while, and so I'm not used to that. But water clarity looks to be about a foot maybe. Most likely post-spawn in a pond like this. There's definitely activity. I mean, I've already seen 2 things spook off the bank. And due to the lack of wind on this pond, I think we're gonna throw topwater frog for a good portion of this bank here. And because this stuff is so thick and it's overcast, I'm probably gonna focus on the edge and not chunking this thing over the top. The pond is relatively small, so I'm actually gonna leave my other 2 rods right there as we do a loop around the entire thing with the frog, working the direction that I like to set the hook. That's one kind of sneaky little bank fishing tip, is that if you like to set the hook this way, don't work the pond this way, because then you're gonna be setting the hook the wrong. Oh my gosh, holy cow. Oh my gosh. Wow, I had one eat the frog as I was explaining that to you guys. Let's go, baby. Yes, that was a shock. That was a shock. Did not even eat it very loud. That was a very quiet eat, but that right there is our first bass of the day on the pop and pad perch. Okay, all right. I am absolutely not gonna complain about that. Now, for the sake of being time efficient when I'm bank fishing, I skip a lot of banks that look like this right here, just because it's open water. I can see the bottom composition of this pond is mud, and so there's really nothing to hold the bass here, not even during the spring. Like, there's not hard bottom in these areas, and so fish are not gonna be spawning in open water. So like if I'm working a frog here and I get to this area right here, I'm usually just gonna bring it all the way in and begin the next cast, because I want to target that structure. Anything that's in the water for those fish to sit on is high percentage. Not saying you can't catch fish in open water with the top water, but it's just, again, not high percentage. So once we do a loop with the frog, we'll probably make some more casts a little bit deeper with spinnerbait or a swim bait. Ooh, snapping turtle. And as always, I have my gear that I use linked in the video description for y'all to check out. Please use those links if and when you can. Helps me out a ton. This is my favorite frog. I love this thing. Pop and pad perch, I think, is the best frog ever made, and I'm not telling a lie. So one thing that I'm seeing as I get to this side of the pond, maybe the sun angle through the clouds is actually allowing me to see better. The water clarity is a bit better than I thought. I'd give it 2 to 2.5 foot water visibility, which is really ideal for a pond. And there is some hard bottom in this pond. I think right here is kind of like a sand bottom. I'm actually gonna work this side a little bit slower with the top water and work in open water, because if there still are any bedfish on this body of water, I don't want to walk up on them without making a cast over them first. So understanding bottom composition is really crucial because I'm fishing this side of the pond different than I'm fishing that side of the pond. Like I'll most likely fish a reaction bait like a spinner bait on that side, and then I'll move over and probably fish a worm or a jig as well on this side. So again, having polarized sunglasses is crucial because you wouldn't be able to really tell what the bottom's like if you didn't have these on. Just to prove my point, I'm gonna put my rod tip down in the water. Yep, and that is a hard bottom. So good to know they could spawn right here. And in all of these 100 ponds videos, of course, I'm doing lots of different techniques as I go across the country. And so if you see me doing a certain fishing technique or fishing a certain lure that maybe you are not too good at or inexperienced at, I have instructional videos that I'm gonna start leaving in every single video description for all the techniques that I used in that video. So like today, starting off with the topwater frog. If you are not confident in the topwater frog or just kind of want more information around it, I've got a masterclass video that I filmed a summer or two ago on the topwater frog. Really proud of that video and the information that it portrayed. So if that interests you, instructional for all my techniques and the ways that I catch them will always be linked now in the video description, if I can remember. Come on, that looks so good. Got him, there we go. I knew there was gonna be a second one. There had to be more fish in here than just one fish. But like I guessed, the quality I don't think is here. Ice cream cone, chocolate chip, please. All right, so now that I know there's more than one fish in here, which is great, and we have success, I'm still gonna try to like prove to myself and to you guys that you can catch them on more than one thing. So I'm just completing my first lap with the top water. I'm gonna do one lap with the spinnerbait on this side and half a lap with the spinnerbait and then half a lap with, I'm thinking a jig, maybe? You know what? I'm not gonna throw a jig. I'm just gonna do a lap with a spinnerbait. When it's overcast and a little bit windy, you really gotta hedge your bets and throw something that's moving. And I'm not gonna say I haven't caught them on windy days before on bottom contact lures, but it's just kind of rare. So spinnerbait it is. So if you do a lap like that with top water and then a lap with something else, there we go. Spinnerbait, that right there was just before I caught the first one. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Slightly bigger. Ouch, ouch, ow, gosh. Whatever the heck they're eating in here, this guy's eating a lot of it and it's making his teeth sharp. My gosh, that hurt. Look at us go, folks. Talking about things and then doing them. And I just realized that's also 3 fish in this little corner right here. One on the frog, one on the spinnerbait, one on the frog. So if I don't get many fish on the rest of the pond, I will come back and fish a slow moving lure in this area because obviously there's fish there. Now you'll notice that I'm still making a relatively parallel cast to the bank. So I get as close as I can to the bank. I'm keeping my rod tip, I don't know, 5-6 feet past the bank and bringing it back, and it's basically sitting in what I think the strike zone is the entire time, as opposed to a cast like this. And I'm gonna show y'all where you sit here and make a cast out there into the middle. Your lure might only be in the strike zone for a short amount of time. Now, sometimes if you know, it's winter time or summer and the fish are way deep out there, you don't really have a choice. But most of the time, I like to keep my casts parallel if that's where I think the fish are. Maybe there's more fish in the middle. So you know what? I'm actually gonna make a few more casts just to see if I can prove myself wrong. Especially if this pond is kind of constant depth, you might find some fish in the middle. But casting in the middle dramatically reduces your time efficiency. So we worked our way around the entire pond and didn't get a single bite on the spinnerbait. So I think we've discovered the fish today are in this pocket right here, which kind of would make sense. The wind is blowing mostly into this corner right here. And so if I was to spend more time at this pond here, I would definitely put on a slower moving lure like a soft plastic, a shaky header, a jig, and really pick my way around this area. But for the sake of time, you know, we've had a success here. I say we pack up our rods and reels, head across the street to pond number 34. So pond 34 is considerably larger than pond 33 was. I'd give this a, I don't know, 30 acres, but it's definitely a different feel. It looks like a little bit deeper of a pond. Looks like we have some snot grass here on the bank, but no actual vegetation. But we do have a few trees laying into the water. We have a deeper section down there that's the dam. We also have one more fisherman over there. And so we're gonna start the same way as we did before with the frog. But this time we can't really leave rods anywhere. It's not like I can make a quick loop around this pond. So I'm gonna have to fish a little bit slower than I would like to. You know, make a cast into one area with the frog and then make a few casts with the spinnerbait, that kind of thing. But the wind definitely affects this body of water more. Water clarity, we're looking at muddier for sure, maybe a foot. Visibility down here. I already saw some minnows in the water, so that's definitely a form of forage they have. This area that I'm walking past right now is just nothing but shallow sand and snot grass, which is just not my favorite type of bank. This bank looks a little bit deeper. Right along the side of it, sometimes these steeper cut banks here, fish can hide underneath them if there's an undercut, or just up against them to kind of push and ambush prey. The other angler at this pond today is throwing a frog on a spinning rod, so y'all know my thoughts about that. Now we're heading into the woods with our spinnerbait and our frog. Perfect. Oh, come stinking on, man. Oh. We ate it again. No way. No way. Oh my gosh. No stinking way. Oh my goodness. This fish got off. I can't believe that just happened. This fish got off my frog and I lost him. Like, I felt it pull out. And so I let it sit there. He came back for it as I'm reeling it in. What a beautiful fish. Awesome black spot on the tail. Oop, bloody tail, so possibly on a bed. Man, what a gorgeous specimen. I mean, the quality of fish just from one of these in this pond compared to that one, it's a different stocking program. That was cool. I have never had a frog fish do that before. Usually once you sting them, like I definitely thought I stung that fish. Usually once you do that, you don't hook them again. Whew. Backwards hook set, not my favorite, but I got it just to the edge of that tree where probably nobody else has ever gotten a cast, at least from this standpoint right here, far away. Maybe somebody's gone closer to that tree and flipped, but I got my frog way back in there into no man's land. Got ourselves a chunky 2-pounder. Yes. All right, so this pond has bass as well. I'm definitely coming back here later on to throw a different kind of topwater for a different video. Not a whole lot of access though on this portion of the pond. Pretty wooded. Okay. Oh, dang it. This is definitely where all the bass are though. I mean, look at all this stuff. All this wood in the water. We got some grass growing up over there. Seems like this is the springtime hole and I just can't fish it because there's nowhere for me to cast. Gosh, dang it. Oh, right in that corner. Right where he stinking should be. It has gotten juicy back here, folks. How am I not catching fish? When you get to stuff like this and you're not catching them, and you know they're biting a frog because you've had one fish and one bite. Oh, gosh, dang it. Well, I was about to say, you know the population of fish is not high in your pond. I'm still willing to make that bet. That was like a 3.5 pounder. Just totally missed it. Let's see if he'll come back for it. He got it. He missed it again. He stinking missed it again. Okay. One more try, buddy. Let us sit there for a while. Pop. Pop, pop. So vertical structure. That's 2 different fish bites on a wall. Too bad we don't have much more of this to fish. I think I'm gonna put on a jig, a juice jig. Little outcast tackle, juicy jig. Today is time for the peanut butter and jelly juice jig. Juicy jig with a little Rage Menace on it. There's one. Yes! Up against the wall, baby, on the jig. How did I know it? How did I know it? Because I'm smart. Beautiful. Oh, the coloring of these bass, like the quality, It's there, man. Outcast tackle juice jig down his face. Roof of the mouth was not coming off, and that again is a beautiful specimen of a bass. Thank you, friend. Oh, he did 2 jumps. Well, that right there, boys and girls, is what you call adapting. The fish were eating the frog, but kind of missing it. And so I knew they were on this bank line here. So I adjusted, put on a jig, which I knew was a bigger profile, something they still might want to eat. And that change got that fish to eat. Oh, gee, that felt kind of fishy as well. Juice jig is probably my favorite all-purpose jig. It's the one that I use in ponds most often, and if I'm low on the cage fighter for skipping docks, it works in a pinch. I will have that juice jig linked down in the description, and what I think is the most beautiful color out there, peanut butter and jelly. If you're struggling to catch fish on a jig, hey, like I said, I will have an instructional video linked below for both the frog and the jig today. And in that video, I talk about the standard Arky style jig head, which the juice jig is. There he is. There he is. Got the fish that I missed on the frog. Got the fish that I missed on the frog on the jig. Yes! Let's go, baby. Oh, beautiful. Haha. I tricked you. That's what I'm talking about. Making adjustments and catching bass. Even if it's 10, 15 minutes later, you can still sometimes go to where you got a bite, make the exact same cast, just with a different presentation, and catch yourselves a fish. That's what I just did, and I proved it. So, subscribe. Definitely way steeper over here, as the dam should be, and also way windier. But as the saying goes, wind is your friend. I would amend that to say that a slight breeze is your friend. Gosh, I slipped and fell. Gosh, there's one. Oh, he was swimming with it for so long. Little tiny squirt on the jig. Not at all the size that we're wanting, but hey, it proves that I can work a jig slowly on the dam and catch one. While there is a lot of snodgrass near the bank, it seems like once you get 5 to 6 feet off that edge, it actually gets pretty clean down there. So we're gonna spend the next few minutes to finish out this video, working the juice jig, hopping it real slow. I'm guessing the strike zone is gonna be where the depth slopes up here to the dam. There seems to be like a 1 to 3 foot section here, and then it drops off into 5 to 6. It's probably where the bites are coming. And so because of that, I'm only gonna cast to about there, because that's about 8 to 10 feet further than where that drop off is. There's one. Got him. Oh yeah, no! I got you, ice cream cone bass. See ya. Well, I have one question for you. ¿Dónde están los pescados grandes en este lago? That depth zone is definitely where the bites are coming. So let's be efficient. There's one. There's one. That's a big one. That's a giant. 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 Oh my gosh. He's got me wrapped up. He's got me wrapped up. Do not break off. Do not break off. Oh my gosh. He's got me wrapped. Got me wrapped. Are you 7? Are you 8? How big are you? Oh my gosh. I gotta get down to him. Oh yes. Y'all got a scale? I got a big one. Holy smokes, folks. Wow. Wow, working the jig slow has resulted in like an 8-pounder. Holy smokes. Wow.
Oh, he's bigger than that.
Yeah, he's bigger than that. This is like the healthiest fish I've ever seen. Oh, 7.38. 738. Holy cow. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, no worries.
Could y'all get a picture for me?
Yes, sir.
Beautiful 738. Looks like she was on a bed. I just can't imagine that she'd bed on the dam. See a big girl? Yes. Let's go. My work here is done. What are y'all's names?
Brady.
Brady.
Kale. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Brady. Kale, I'm Tyler. Nice to meet you guys.
Fish for a living? Is that what you do?
I do, yeah. I make YouTube videos.
Nice, nice. What's your YouTube?
Tyler's Real Fishing.
Yeah, I've seen you before.
Been doing it for quite a while. Well, man, that was a fun session on the pond. Well, I would consider that a massive success. I can't think of a better ending or a better beginning or a better middle section. I mean, there was teaching, there was fish catches, there was adventure. I hope y'all liked that. I liked that. That was fun. I just love the fact that I get to do this for a job, and it's all because of you guys and your support. And so if you haven't checked out the links in the video description, make sure you check those out. That helps me out a ton when you guys purchase your tackle. Let's sell the heck out of some juice jigs because I proved on a public pressured pond today they catch fish. If y'all want to see my entire 100 ponds playlist, I will leave that linked right up here in this corner for y'all to click. The longer you stay on my channel, the better it does in the algorithm. So if you got some time, watch some other 100 ponds videos. They are all fun and informative. My name's Tyler. We'll see y'all next time right here on TRF.